So let's take a journey through a poet's search for meaning in our modern, often chaotic world. It's a journey the poet calls The Fool's Quest, and it's a really raw and honest look at the struggle to find our place in it all. And this quote right here, it just nails the heart of the entire journey. This idea that life can be both a looming tragedy and a slapstick comedy at the same time. This paradox that we somehow feel most alive right when we stumble, well, that's the engine that drives this entire quest. So, where does this quest even start? Well, it kicks off with a kind of pressure that I think we all know way too well, that constant feeling that we need to be perfect. And we're going to explore the deep internal conflict that pressure creates. The poet feels like this raw, uncut gem, but they're constantly grinding themselves down just to please other people. It's all about that deep, burning desire for validation, even if it means getting stuck, perpetually in a rut, just trying to fit in. And this all boils down to one really powerful question. In this constant compulsive drive to become better, are we accidentally losing our true selves in the process? Okay, so you've got this immense pressure. How does it actually show up in real life? Well, the poet starts trying to make sense of life itself, looking at it through two totally contradictory lenses, as a race and as a comedy. It really is all about perspective, isn't it? When you zoom in on the day-to-day, life feels like a total tragedy. You got the bills piling up, the soul-crushing work. But then, when the poet zooms out, they see the absolute absurdity of it all. The struggle starts to look like a slapstick comedy where every little slip, every fall, is just a strange reminder that you're alive. But it's not just about tragedy versus comedy. There's another huge metaphor running through all of this, the idea of life as a race. But, and this is key, it's a race where the rules just keep changing on you. And what's so interesting is how the view of this race completely evolves. At first, it's a mad dash, a sprint. You only live once, right? Then it slows down into a marathon, where just getting to the finish line is enough. From there, it becomes a relay, where it's about passing the baton to the next person. But the final revelation? It's the most profound. It's not a race at all. It's a pilgrimage, a journey that's way more fun when you're traveling together. And that realization, that's the huge turning point. All those old ways of coping, of trying to win the race all by yourself, they just start to crumble. And what comes out of that is this raw, incredibly vulnerable plea for real human connection. At first, the poet's instinct is to find a clinical fix, right? A cure. They're literally looking for cure. And the goal isn't even real happiness. It's just to turn that hysterical misery into something more manageable, like common unhappiness. It's just about finding a way to endure. But then it hits them. A cure isn't really the answer. Just fixing the symptoms doesn't actually get to the root of the problem. What's needed is something much, much deeper. And this line, this is the emotional heart of the whole plea. It's this incredibly powerful demand for genuine human connection. Forget the titles, forget the techniques. The poet is basically saying, you need to be human first. The magic isn't in the fixing, it's in just being there. Okay, so if a therapist or a cure isn't the answer, then what is? Well, for the poet, the answer is writing. But, and this is a big but, it's not some simple, easy fix. It's both a profound purpose and a sacred, really demanding burden. And you can really see the two sides of this coin. On one hand, writing is a Faustian pact. It's a deal where you have to lay bare your innards for an audience. But on the other hand, it's this deeply private act of healing. It's a way for the muddy thoughts to clear up and for the dust to settle down. Not just for the reader, but for the writer first and foremost. So, at the end of the day, writing becomes this incredible form of alchemy. It's like the poet has found their own philosopher's stone, something with the mythical power to take all of life's venom, the pain, the anger, all of it, and transform it into connection, understanding, and even love. And all of this, it brings us to the final, and maybe the most profound conclusion of the entire quest. There's no treasure map here. There's no X that marks the spot. The real meaning, it turns out, is found in the act of searching itself. The poet really confronts the paradox of arrival here. What happens when you actually get what you thought you wanted, your nirvana? A strange kind of emptiness can set in. You found serenity, sure, but you've lost your purpose. You become totally rudderless, with nothing moving you forward. And that is the ultimate revelation, isn't it? The goal was never a final destination. It was always a direction. True purpose isn't found in a trophy at the finish line. It's found in the ongoing process of creating, of searching, and just moving forward. So the quest ends with the poet's identity being fully embraced. It all culminates not in a demand for fame or fortune, but in this simple, humble request that we, the readers, just take a moment to read and reflect. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real purpose of any fool's quest. Not just to find meaning for ourselves, but to spark that very same search in other people.